Hello folks, welcome to the weekly chart review. This is going to be the stocks. It is August 27th, pretty late in the evening, so let's see how quickly we can get through this today. So it's quite the interesting end of the week, wasn't it, folks? 583 point drop overall. Let's see, where was right here, 497. The actual reversal itself happened on the Friday, and it was painful, right? So currently, what's happening is on the NASDAQ. Where are you on my list? Right here. Okay, so what's currently happening is that there was a gap that formed. Okay, I'll show you what that is right now on my gap chart. All right, so here we are. This is what ended up happening. Remember how I said there's a 86% chance that gaps fill within the week? So Friday filled 4 gaps. All right, that's pretty good. So one, the big blue one, the one from the previous day, the one from 2 days ago, and the one from 3 days ago, all filled on Friday. Right? Like I said, 86% chance. Now, this came incredibly close. I was actually expecting this gap to fill first before dropping. So, I mean, it just came about 40 points short of that. It is what it is, right? So at least we kind of have a target for the long term. Like you see these 3 lines kind of formed way up here. I didn't expect to hit these 2. I was expecting to hit the first 2. Again, 40 points short. I was 42 points short from this zone, so maybe 40 is my threshold. Anyway, so gap formed, and this is where we're sitting at. I'll switch it over to the 15. It's going to be a little bit tighter. Okay, so it's right here. Right at the end of that. Boom, done. Okay, so what this looks like and what typically happens when it gaps down after market, it's gonna go sideways after hours. I believe that it's gonna open, close the gap off quickly, and then start slowly dropping down. Okay, so as you can see where we're at in the long term, so I'll flip it to the 4-hour now. Okay, where we are long term, we're kind of sitting right in the middle of where the gaps are, right? So the one from the top is 629 points away, and then the closer one at the bottom is 520 points away. So we're almost in the center of all this, okay? Yeah, it's going to be a rough go. Okay, so this is the long-term draw up. This is what I want to show you actually. I highlighted these 2 zones. Okay, now it's going to be a little important to understand the meaning of these ones. Okay, so there's that, and there is this. This is what's going to happen, what I believe. Okay, so we don't have anything there currently. But this is the volume the last time it was around that area, okay? So, 2 things, right? Volume coincides with the fib channel line. The purple one is quite strong, quite a strong indicator. I labeled my fib channel so that the yellow ones are the golden lines, right? The ones that trigger most often. The aquas are the whole numbers. And the purples are the second most frequent numbers that appear on Fibonacci, right? And then I go from there. It's the second most frequent, the third is the white, the fourth is the green that I have drawn up, the fifth is the red, and it doesn't really matter, right? Like, this is just for myself. And who knows, maybe I'm lying to you in what order they are, but that's for me to know. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is we've consolidated for several days in this area, right, on that purple line. So if you take a look, right, I'll zoom in a little bit more. Look where we closed, okay, just below it. So what I predict for this coming week, we're going to be sitting around there. Okay, we're going to be around that zone before we continue on further down. And that's only because the purple line previously was, I don't really want to say support and resistance, but I mean, you can clearly see how many times it was bouncing off this area here. Like, look, it broke through and then it tested it 2 days in a row and dropped below it. Then finally came up 4 days later, closed at the line. The next day it dropped hard. Okay, and then finally it broke through and it didn't really go very far, right? It kept testing that line every single day except for the 30th, right? So 31st was tested. June 1st, June 2nd, 3rd, 4th, yeah, whatever. It's 3rd, 6th, right? 4th and 5th were weekends. 7th, 8th, and then it finally went back down. So you can see just a little over a week, it played around that line, finally kept dropping. Now look, it pulled up again, and it tested off the line 3 more times before finally breaking through. And as it broke through the next day, tested the line going down, but started climbing. So this is what I believe is going to happen. This next move here is going to be looking like this area or this area, one of the two. Okay, either way, it's still going down. So what we could do is drop on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We can have a rally up back to that purple line, and then we drop a little bit more on Friday, or just kind of consolidate. But we could be at this level for a week, maybe a little bit longer, before it drops further. There is no more news coming out that would rationally drop stocks or any of the specific index now, right? This consolidation is going to be a good time for people to finally make their decisions whether or not they want to hold long term or get out in there and let this thing fall. Okay? I do not believe that we're going to be hitting this target area again. This is too high for it to climb, and we've already gotten our information, right? So from my peak, it's already dropped almost 1,200 points. Okay? So like I'm saying, we could consolidate, we just go sideways, or we can see one of these, where it just breaks through, comes back up to test the zone, and then keeps dropping, right? So the yellow line here will be the next one to watch, around 12,300. So the IXIC, I believe I drew up the same line. Let me just pop that up so people will have a better idea. Okay, so here it's going to be between the green and the aqua. So that's what I have set up there. Like, it's just different charts, different lines, right? Different points of interest. But you can see even off this green line, like, I don't have anything else drawn up. This is just the fib channel. Look how it played off that and then dropped. Right? So, I mean, everything becomes relevant. You can use 3 different types of indices charts, right? You can use, or the brokers. I can use Oanda, I can use Pepperstone, I can use Black Bull, and they're all going to give me slightly different information, but overall the movements are going to be the same. Okay, so that was NASDAQ in a nutshell. This is what I see short-term and long-term. And yeah, so if we jump into a few of them, let's see where Apple is now. You can see Apple barely closed that gap, but how interesting is this, right? Like I said, the fib channel. Look, closed, and then it gapped below it, and then it almost closed the gap right in the same spot, right? So, I mean, there's a gap left of maybe 25 cents, if that. Okay, so that's not going to be extremely relevant. This one, I believe, is the next one to fill around the 157, 159 mark. And then we're looking here. There's going to be one down there to fill as well. Let's see. Yeah, so right here, there's a good one in the 132 to 133. And that's the lowest gap that I see currently. Apple might be a little bit more resilient than the rest, but it's going to drop just the same. All right, AMC. This is one that's bugging me a little bit. I drew up charts before, and I know that AMC peaked around $73, and now this is sitting at $44. So I have no idea what's happened to the prices on my chart, but it's messed up. The chart itself is the exact same, it's just the prices are screwed up. So I don't really understand it. And I even took a screenshot before it was that was at 73, and I was saying it was going to hit 25, 26 before reversing around that area. But now that's a $16, $17 mark. So I have no idea what happened there. It's bugging me a little bit. Maybe I can, let's see if I can do this actually. AMC, what's the current price? C, so NY. Let's take it off and pop it back on. Nah, it's not going to matter. It's the same thing. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. Let's see, BlackBerry, right? So, I mean, I already dove into this before. I explained, look, fib channel, Fibonacci. It's just, if you have two indicators kind of line up together, it's kind of a no-brainer as far as where this is potentially going to go. And even the drop, right? You can see the drop. Look at my aqua line. Like I was saying, the whole numbers on that fib channel. That's where it's kind of sitting right now. You know, it's a reason why it works, right? They're very significant. Look at BlackRock, dropped about, and right from which point to, right? Dropped right from that red, about $90 a share. Berkshire Hathaway, this was the drop. Let's put it back on the daily. Right off that green, the drop this time before it was hovering around the center. But you can see how relevant it is right here. Right here just broke above it, but tested it once again. See how the green line's been tested several times. Now it finally rejected. Okay. CAT. Not interested in CAT, honestly. Costco, here we go. Okay, I don't have fib channel lines drawn up here. But just the basic Fibonacci look, 618, up it went. Right now we're seeing a bit of a drop, and watch this, right? So from high to this low, it's a little bit higher than 618, but it's still in the golden zone. Like I was saying, this is the golden zone for reversals, that whole box. Okay, so we're there right now. As you can see, I drew it up down here, and it was nice and tight off that 618. Chevron. Right, look at this, right off there. And as you can see, right, because it's the channel, it's angled, so it's still going up. You can see my crosshair, right? The channels are moving slightly upwards, but now you can see the significance of this one, right? It moves slightly upwards, but it's still touching the same area it did way back here, right? Even the resistance before, where it was sitting at before there, came very close, right? So it's a good indicator to have, but it's not my only indicator. If my second or third indicators match up with the channel, that solidifies my trade ideas. Okay. Not really interested there. Disney. So Disney has a lot of gaps to fill, both up and down. But again, it's the run's done. You see where it kind of peaked off there. And let's see, the last high point was there to the low. You know, we barely made it past the 50% there. So still in the golden zone, but it's going to be dropping. DocuSign, I was saying before, around the $48 mark. That's where this gap is formed. I do believe it's going to be dropping there, possibly a little bit lower. Once it drops below 48, I will personally get some shares. I believe $48 is a fair valuation for the company. And seeing as there are lots of gaps to fill high above that space, I'm pretty confident that we'll see this come back. Electronic Arts, I mean, comparatively, it did very well. I think people wanted to buy it up before the dividends come out. Okay, didn't really drop a whole lot of stuff, but eBay, even eBay, right? Rejection off that purple line, and it sat there. Now it's around this yellow. GameStop, where are you at now? I drew you up before, but you know, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Home Depot, another one of these. It filled this gap here, right? But it didn't fill up the one at 341, 343. I was thinking it would have made it to at least that point before the reversal happened, but It did not. And you see right at the aqua. So it's kind of the perfect position for it to kind of close off. And look where it closed the week off, right? That final trading day on Friday, right at the yellow line. Okay, so Honeywell, same idea. So gap closed here. We can get rid of that. Now you see how it rejected off that line. It's kind of sitting in between these two. Okay, what does IBM look like? Using the white line as a rejection several times. Now finally broke through this one after using it as a resistance for 2 days. Support for 2 days. And then Intel. Yep. Intuit. Right, so everything, there's good significance with these fib lines that are drawn up. I don't really have a lot of exciting positions. NVIDIA, I took a sell on Friday, so that was a nice win for me. A put, pardon me. Took a put on Friday, so that worked out nicely. And let's see, Occidental. All right, we're making new highs. Like, that's the one incredible thing about this company. Okay, and I do believe that this is going to continue climbing. Would have been nice if I was able to sneak a buy right at the COVID lows, right? $8 a share. That'd be nice. But again, it was one of the things where if you didn't have liquidity, if you didn't have any liquidity to buy when this hit rock bottom, then, you know, doesn't really matter at that point, does it? Progeny had a nice run up. I don't expect them to go much further at this point. They're going to be dropping off like everything else. Let's see where they did their fib retracement on. So look at that. Golden zone still in there, but they've kind of done the reversal. So that's going to be a sell as well. Let's see how this one worked out. Right to the lows. A little bit lower than the 618. So, yeah. This is going to start dropping too. PayPal, what are you at, pal? Alright, so watch this. Just a simple fib, right? Look at the lines we're hovering. Rejecting off the yellow, now rejected off the white, and off this yellow. Down to there. Golden zone, now we're dropping. Okay. Big stocks are very easy to predict, guys. Like, this should be something everybody starts learning and understanding. Okay, there's only going to be a few that live outside of those rules. But watch, I'll even do Tesla. We know how Tesla could be lucrative and go all over the place, right? As you saw, we didn't really hit new peaks. But look, from the last peak to this low, just about, now it's starting to drop. Okay, I was expecting it to go just a little bit higher, but not by much. Right, when before the split, it was what was it, $907 a share is where I said that's kind of the last peak. Excuse me, the last peak that we're gonna see. We hit 910 that day before dropping, and I think a week prior to that, it hit 944. I said my best case scenario after split, it'll go up to around the 980 zone. That would have been kind of just below this yellow line, right? So you can see 330, so I mean 980, that's pretty close. It would be 990 here. And I was expecting to kind of come up to there, but it didn't. It starts going off a little bit lower, but still goes to show you that this is playing within the confines like everything else you've seen. All right, Walmart. What do we see in Walmart? This line, that fib is irrelevant now. But watch, okay? Very simple. From peak to low, right? Almost off the 618. I mean, it was in the golden zone. Now it's dropping. Okay? We're going to be seeing that with a lot of stocks coming up. Oops. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to share. Zim was disappointing. Like, damn. You know, don't tell me that was bad earnings. Like it still went up $11 a share just because they estimated 12.81. Like this is still very good, right, for a company to be worth this much, and that how far up it went. Maybe I'll look into them in the future when they drop back down to, let's say, 30. But anyway, not really relevant for me anyway. My broker doesn't even have them. It's sad, I know. All right, ExxonMobil, last oil stock. So you can see it hasn't peaked as well as Oxy has, right? So this went a little bit higher. Exxon is still decent value. ConocoPhillips, that's the other one. I just want to add that one because this is one I actually have as well. Okay. I ended up grabbing it around $83 a share, something like that. So this has been a nice climb up. Very well done for me. Yay. And yeah, I mean, we hit a peak right there in June. This will keep going. What was the... You know what? Let's do the trend-based extension to go higher. Where was this one again? Let's go from big points right there. Okay. So there we go. At least 136 a share, maybe by, I want to say beginning of October, middle of October. Seems like a reasonable target to hit. So yeah, once it gets to that point, then I'll consider selling off some, partials, and letting the rest ride with a stop loss. But overall, I mean, this is how stocks have been going. You're going to see massive drops in the next few months. Okay, if there's rallies, they're just going to be bull traps. So please try to avoid making any silly mistakes. Please watch the videos. Honestly, guys, I'm just here to help you. As you can see, I'm not charging anything. I don't have any other channels. I don't sell you anything. I just want to teach you to do this. Okay? So sign up, bring your friends along, learn. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for the journey, right? We learn slowly and thoroughly to the point where you won't even need my videos in the future. You're going to be able to do this on your own. All right, guys? So take care, and I'll see you next week.